one, I am doing a really fun tag and that I am pretty sure Emily Noel 83, Emily Eddington, is the originator of this tag. If I am mistaken, I will update it in the description box, but I'm pretty sure Emily is the brains behind this tag. And it started as, and I think for all I've seen, the titles have always been, if I could spend $1,000 at Sephora. And a lot of people have asked me if I would do it. I think it's been about a month since hers went up. And I was hesitant because, to be honest, I don't shop that much at Sephora anymore. Most of my beauty shopping is at Nordstrom, a little bit at Ulta, and if I really need something specific that only Sephora has, I'll get it from Sephora. That just, I don't know, I prefer shopping in those other places. But I wanted to stay true to the tag, at the same time reflecting the truth of where I actually shop. So what I did was amended it a little bit. So if I had $1,000 to shop for beauty products at Sephora and Nordstrom, what would I buy? Now this is a really kind of tough concept for me because part of me says, all right, I'm gonna pretend like it's free money. Like someone just handed me $1,000 and said, do what you want, but you have to buy beauty. And I'm torn. Do I use it to stock up on all the stuff that I would just buy normally and just be well stocked? Of course I am already well stocked, who are we kidding? Or is this like, all right, this is free money, let's just go crazy and buy all the fantasy stuff because you know you're just gonna buy your regular makeup no matter what anyway. I went with option B. So I'm going into this as if with no real careful economy of thought, budgeting where the money's going. This is just complete fantasy list. Although I would like to buy at least one or two of these at some point. Some of them are not completely outrageous. So I will start with the items that I really wanted from Sephora. We'll wrap it up from Nordstrom and I will be adding it all up and we'll see where, I know where it goes, but let's see where it goes. If you've watched any of my prior videos, you know I'm a little bit of an eyeshadow palette junkie. So Sephora really stands out because they carry two brands that I really don't see anywhere else other than shopping directly from their sites, and that is Pat McGrath and Natasha Denona. So it should not be a surprise that I put some of their pieces in my shopping cart. So the first item is the Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette, Bronze Seduction. And I'm looking at it here on my iPad so I can admire it in its beautifulness. There's just something incredibly special about Pat McGrath eyeshadow palettes. I don't own any. I own some lip glosses. I don't even own the full-size lip glosses. I bought the trio of her lip glosses in the last big Sephora sale. So I've never splashed for a full price item. It's absolutely stunning. I feel like this and one other palette that we're going to talk about shortly are the most, to me, user-friendly. They have the most neutrals. There is that pop of red, but I could see just kind of warming up the crease a little bit with that. There's that duochrome shade in the upper right. I also have to say I really like how Pat McGrath does the swatches on the different skin tones. Not every brand does that. Natasha Denona does not do any swatches on her marketing, and it's just nice to see it because especially now when you can't get in store to swatch, or you can get in store but you can't swatch, this is really helpful. I would probably use every single color, so I think that would be $125 well spent. It went in my cart. Now the other one is another Pat McGrath eyeshadow palette. This one is the Midnight Sun palette, also $125. Very similar. I know they're very similar. There's a lot of similarity, but that purple shade is just stunning. There are some differences, I think, between the two palettes. I would probably have every eyeshadow shade I'm looking for, but I'm gonna keep buying more eyeshadow palettes even if I own these two. So those two are for sure the standouts. That lavender shade though is so pretty. They're all just stunning. I've been admiring these for years. One day. All right, next from Sephora are, well, the last two items from Sephora are both from Natasha Denona. This took some thought because she has a lot of things to choose from, and I do own some of her eyeshadows already, and just the mini palettes, the more budget-friendly options, and I can tell you her eyeshadows are incredible quality. They're beautiful, the ones that I have. Now, trying to do the fantasy thing, but at the same time thinking, will I really use this? The two palettes that came to mind, the first was the Star eyeshadow palette. It's just gorgeous. There are so many beautiful shades. There's neutral shades, there's shiny and sparkly shades. There's colorful shades. I think I just have a lot of fun with this palette. I do not think I would regret owning it. And it is $169. And then the other palette is the Biba palette. And that is for my more practical side. I don't know how much I'd use the gray tone shadows, but maybe having spent $129 on it, I would be more inclined to make use out of every single shade. I think there's some very unique neutral shades. They're all stunning. I would be hard pressed to pick which. If I had to pick one of those palettes I just mentioned, don't make me pick. I honestly don't know. So that's it from Sephora, and that totals $548 just from Sephora. So now we have a little less than $500 to play with over at Nordstrom. Let's go see what I picked out. I have been wanting this next product for years. I kind of thought that I would buy it for myself back in July to celebrate my 10-year YouTube anniversary, and then I just thought, this is ridiculous. Maybe when the world opens back up and I can wear makeup more often in a real setting where real people can see me, I will go for it. But I have wanted this for so long, and I will justify it by saying it is technically 2 products in one. So it's the La Prairie Skin Caviar Concealer and Foundation. One of the other reasons I didn't go for it was because I cannot swatch it or get samples of it right now, and $245 is a lot of money to spend on a guess. I think the last time I tried it, I was tender ivory, but it might have been soft ivory. I can't remember. And then I'm tanning and then not tanning. Like right now, there's no tan. This is all natural. Well, there's foundation, but this is it. So I didn't want to spend almost $250 on a foundation that I couldn't use, whatever. So the La Prairie Skin Caviar Concealer and Foundation. I have not tried the concealer, but I have over the years had a few of the sample sizes, and that foundation is incredible. I will say, if I were not a YouTuber, and so I wasn't investing in all different kinds of makeup, I'd probably just wear that every day. It's incredible, as it should be. I mean, now it's 2 for the price of 1. So right now, in real life, like right now, I'm wearing the La Mer foundation, which is $120. That's about what the La Prairie foundation would be if you divvy it up, that half of the price is for the foundation, half of the price is for the pot of concealer that's in the top of the bottle. So it's outrageous. Who am I kidding? It's crazy. But if you ever get a chance to go to Nordstrom or Saks, where they carry it, I think they carry it at Neiman Marcus, I can't remember, get a sample, because it's incredible. I should say part of why I'm also shopping more at Nordstrom is they carry more of the brands that I'm interested in, plus they have the same brands as Sephora for the most part, aside from Mcgrath and Natasha Denona. So at Nordstrom I can get, I feel like, more. Anyway, so one of the brands they carry at Nordstrom that they don't have over at Sephora is Chantecaille, and I think it's my friend Lisa J Makeup, who tried this mascara and loved it. And then recently a viewer asked me if I'd ever tried it, and I'm like, I'm not paying $72 for mascara, but I would if I had $1,000 of free money to spend at the beauty counter. So the Chantecaille Faux Seals, what did they call it? Longest Lash Mascara, $72. It's supposed to be incredible just as a mascara. Like, it builds beautifully, volume and length, doesn't flake, doesn't clump, but gets them thick. It just ticks all those boxes. But part of the reason it's so expensive is it's Chantecaille. But really, one of the reasons it's so expensive is because it's supposed to have a lash growth serum or lash building serum in the mascara that over time, obviously, if you wear it every day, your lashes will be long and thick and beautiful. So it's not an outrageous thing if you put the lash growth serum concept in there, right? Yeah, so that's on my list. And that, like I said, for the third time, $72. All right, next, another brand that I have had a few little products from them. In fact, I'm wearing their powder, their pressed powder today, is by Prairie. And there's a few things that I'm curious about. One is their under eye concealer. Well, it's just concealer, but I'm so in love with the Dior concealer right now that I took that off my list, but I am very interested, and I know that Emily Noel actually likes this powder too. It's the by Prairie Hyaluronic Tinted Hydra Powder Loose Setting Powder. Yes, I had to refer to my notes to read that one because that is a mouthful. It is a tinted loose powder, and it is $60, which isn't I mean, I don't want to downplay a $60 product, especially in today's economy, but compared to other luxury brand powders, that's actually, dare I say budget friendly? No, but it's not crazy, like La Mer loose powder or Sicily or even Chanel, I think is more expensive. So, you know, like I think Laura Mercier is about 45, so for another 15, okay, whatever. That being said, I'm curious about it being tinted. I've never really used a tinted setting powder before, a loose setting powder before, and I've heard wonderful things about this powder, that it's so fine, it's great for under your eyes, it's just a lot. I know Makeup by Tiffany D loves it as well. So that's one of those things that I will likely buy for real, but we're gonna keep it in the fantasy luxury makeup bag for right now. And then the last item that fits in my $1,000 budget is something I actually own, but I want another one. And I just talked about this. This is the new Eau de Parfum travel spray from Tom Ford in the scent Lost Cherry. I have to smell it. So this is $72, just this little atomizer, which looks like that, you know, so there's not a lot there. So some of you may be asking, well, Marnie, why didn't you just, if this isn't real, just go ahead and pretend to buy the full-size spray? Because the full-size spray is, I think, close to $350, somewhere around there. That takes out a third of my budget. So for just another $72, I think I'm set for at least half a year between this one and the one that I'm not really buying in real life, but if I were to buy another one. I just love this so much, and the scent is so unique, and it fit in my budget. So the total spent at Nordstrom was $449, combined with the $500 plus from Sephora. It brought me to $997. I am assuming that we are not going to talk about tax. So $997 would buy me 8 items, which would be an average cost per item of $124.63. Ouch. Well, that was really fun. I hope to one day own 2, maybe 3 of these products. We will see. But if you had the opportunity to spend $1,000 at Sephora or Nordstrom or anywhere that sells beauty products, what would some of the things be that would be in your shopping cart? And would you go the luxury route and just stick with the fantasy items you've always wanted but never were gonna pull the trigger on? Or would you go, you know what, I'm just gonna stock up on all my favorites and save the money doing it that way? I'm curious to know how you would approach this. Thank you, Emily, for coming up with such a great idea. This was a really fun tag. I'm glad I made it. Thanks to all of you who pushed me to make this, and thanks to the rest of you for hanging out with me today in another video. I hope you are all doing well, staying well, and I will see you in the next one.